to price it properly for your markets and leverage the resources we've got, like our pricing guidelines. And third, call in and get an ROI model built so that you can get a very clear-eyed view of what your prospects are and selling back up to your customers. It takes 10 minutes, and you've got to call in to register for the Kindle anyway, so it's a great use of time. Speaking of time, we are fast running out of time, so I'll skip through to the end here in just a moment so I can take questions. In fact, I'd encourage everybody, if you've got questions, please do ask them now so I can just roll straight into the Q&A. One last thing. Sign to get you rebranded, get your marketing material, get your pricing set, and get you launched. The partner delivery team actually runs the training program as well. You've got your partner specialist who becomes your sales rep and helps you sell to your customers, and then you've got your support lead, the person who provides you, who's your nominated contact within the support department. So it's 4 people assigned to your partnership here at SOS, and you can call any other backup vendor in the market, hell, any other software vendor in the market, and ask them how many people they're going to assign to. Ask them how many people they're going to assign to your account. It will not be 4, I can assure you. So why SOS? We're the technology leader. We won't be beaten on price. We've got unparalleled at a very high margin recurring revenue stream to your business, and that's what online backup's about, by providing better backup to your customers at a better price. All right, so let's move into the Q&A section now. Okay, so you've got some questions here. Brett asks, do you know of any partners that are working with banks or credit unions? Brett, it depends what you mean by working with. If you mean selling to, and the banks and the credit unions are the customers, definitely, absolutely, that's happening. One of the things that I would like to see our partners do is actually work with banks to have the banks give this to all of their customers. So you're sure you could get a bank or a credit union to use this themselves, but a much more powerful sales approach would be to have that bank give a free account to every single customer. So I'm not sure if that's what you were thinking about, but that's certainly something that I'd like to see happen. It really does depend upon what the partner you're coming in as over a period. You should really talk to our partner specialist to get an assessment of which partner program is going to be a best fit for you. Sometimes what partners find, and what we find is, obviously the more commitment you make to us, the cheaper your cost per gigabyte is. So some partners will literally pay us $50,000 up front to get the lowest possible cost per gigabyte, whereas you might not be sensitive to the cost per gigabyte issue. So therefore, you might just for both ends of the spectrum. Our smallest time, so I've got a full-time job. And so my daily backup runs in less than a minute. Whereas if you're on DSL or cable, you're probably looking at a daily backup which might take between 10 minutes and an hour. So it really does depend upon the upstream connection on your broadband connection. I hope that answers the question, Dave. Hamish asks, Pricing is my greatest apprehension about signing up. I think that my small business with 6 desktops and 1 server would not pay $100 a month, maybe $50, and that is New Zealand. What are your comments, please, for local pricing? Thanks. Hamish. Well, Hamish, it just so happens that I'm Australian, and as an Australian I have some perspective on the New Zealand market. It's very similar to the Australian market. So if you picked a different country, I probably wouldn't have any insight. 6 desktops, 1 server. So we're talking like a 6 or 7 employee firm. For a 6 or 7 employee firm, we would usually be recommending you pitch a $2,000 to $3,000 per year contract. Now, what will often happen is you'll get a 2 or 3 year deal. So let's say they only sign up for $100 a month. Well, let's even use your figures. So let's say if they sign up for $50 a month, then that's $600 a year, but you actually get them to sign a 3-year contract, so they pay you $1,800, right? So that would be the sort of way you would approach that. Again, it's not usually about the amount of data, it's usually about how big the business is, because that determines their budget this on a per head basis. So forget how much data is. They'll often say, okay, I have 10 employees and I'm willing to pay $100 a year to back up each employee, so I'm willing to pay $1,000 a year. That's the rough sort of thinking process that gets used. Now, in a corporate IT environment, that's very much what gets used. It's headcount per department and the dollars per head that the enterprise is willing to budget for data protection. Hope that was helpful, Hamish. Paul asks, any web hosting companies use SOS to resell to hosting clients? Paul, absolutely. Tens, if not 100. It would be high tens, you know, like 70, 80, 90 types of numbers. So hosting companies get it. This is our resell model is very similar to the hosting reseller model. So this is a natural extension for hosting companies. Stephen asks, how much CPU and memory are used on average when the backup is run? Stephen, not much. I hate to give such a vague answer, but it really is difficult. It depends on many factors. The most important factor is the type of data. So if you're backing up movie files, it's going to use a lot more resources than if you're backing up Word documents. So you can schedule the backup, and that, of course, will determine when the hit occurs. The default is it'll schedule sometime between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., so it'll run during the night. So generally, resource usage is not a problem. And remember, we don't run continuously the way Mozy does. So a lot of customers are worried about this issue of how resource intensive is it. But because we run on a schedule and we run outside of normal usage hours, it's not a problem. Shenna asks, can we use with residential customers? Absolutely, Shenna. I would estimate that probably 25% of our partners sell to home users. Lancho asks, sorry if I did not understand well, but in terms of volume used and respectively paid by, does the volume of older versions of files version history count? No, it doesn't, Lancho. So if you have a 10 gig account and you back up a 1 gig file, you have used 1 gig. If that file changes every day for 5 years, SOS will keep 1,500 versions. But as far as SOS is concerned, you still only have 1 gigabyte. So we eat the cost of providing that for you. Tommy asks, PC and Mac end users. Tommy, you can back up Mac data with it so long as you've got VMware Fusion or Parallels Desktop. We've got a native, which is what most of our customers do. Our native Mac app is launching in the summer, so June, July, hopefully June. It's in beta at the moment. So Shenna asks, can you back up Linux? Shenna, same answer. So there's 2 ways to deploy SOS. You can either deploy it with an agent on every machine, or you can deploy it in a central configuration where it will back up in agentless across the network. So in that second configuration, it can back up Linux, Unix, Mac, anything. So long as you're using Samba or NFS or any other network file system, SOS can back up the data. Gary said, did I understand correctly, do you have a backup facility in Canada? If so, where is that, and can I specify that particular facility for data storage? Gary, yes, you did understand correctly. Yes, we do have a data center in Canada. We don't give out the details of precisely where, but I can tell you it's in the city of Toronto. If so, where is that, Toronto, and can I specify that particular facility for data storage? Yes. David asks, if info is on a shared hosting server, does this present any challenges? Not quite sure what you mean, David. Are you talking about on our back end, or? Yeah, I'm not quite sure what you mean. Lee, L-Y, asks, does the backup software work on a resume mode if stopped where it left off? Absolutely. Not only does it resume at the file it stopped on, but it actually resumes at the byte, which is a major problem with our competition. They just resume at the beginning of the file. Well, if you're backing up a 5 gig file and there's a connection problem, which there often is, then it starts again, and then you have another connection problem, it starts again. So one of the problems that Mozy faced early on, and they've done a lot of work to improve it, but one of the problems they faced early on was just an endless loop on large files. But SOS actually resumes at the, I said byte, but that's not correct. It resumes at, I think, a 50 kilobyte block. So it'll roll back 50 KBs and then resume. Folks, we are running out of time, so I can take a couple more questions, and then we're going to have to wrap for the day. So let me give out the Kindle details. For the Kindle, you need to call in, and that free call number's on the screen, 877-896-3611. Or if you're outside of the United States, the direct dial's +1-310-878-2626, and I think it's extension 1 for sales, but just listen to the prompts. And you need to quote the Kindle promotion code, KDX831. That's Kilo Delta X-Ray 831. Those phone numbers again, free call in the USA, 877-896-3611, or direct dial +1-310-878-2626. Terrific. Well, thank you all for your attention and your participation. Welcome you to these webinars again in the future. Really like to have, we didn't have today, but we often have recurring participants. So feel free to come back. The Q&A usually starts at about 1/2 the hour. So if you've just got questions and you'd like to ask further questions, then feel free to just drop in at that part of the webinar and engage in the Q&A. The Kindle promotion code again, John, is KDX, Kilo Delta X-Ray 831. Terrific. Oh, thank you everybody for your comments. Looks like we've answered a lot of questions today. Terrific. Okay, great. We've got lots of comments coming in. So thanks for your feedback, everybody. I really appreciate getting constructive criticism and pointers on where